Okay, I'm not sure what happened on that previous attempt, but it looks like it recorded up to this slide, so I'm going to continue from here, and then when it uploads I'll take a look and be sure that it did. But so anyway, we were talking about the vegetation profile across the beach at St. Vincent Island down in the Florida Panhandle. A sea oats dominated foredune, woody goldenrod here on the back dune and through this little swale area. Rosemary zone as you move up the back dunes, typically some tall oak scrub as we move to the rear, and then flatwoods behind that dominated by slash pine and cabbage palm, and then on the rearward part of the island a rosemary scrub with some sand live oak. Now a lot of those we won't see on the Alabama beaches. These are some of those plants. Again, I think I will defer and let Dr. Keener tell you which of these, if any, we might see. Here's Florida rosemary. And the cabbage palm. Actually, this particular tree is where hearts of palm comes from. It's the growing bud of the cabbage palm. Or correct me if I'm wrong on that, Dr. Keener. The sand live oak, Quercus geminata, and saw palmetto back to the rear. I'll go through these very quickly. These are some other beach systems that we visit in the subtropical ecology class, which of course we won't see this sort of system exactly. Canaveral National Seashore is over on the Atlantic coast. These are some other types of beach vegetation. This is sea purslane, inkberry, saw palmetto again. Some sea grape, which we don't have to my knowledge on the upper Gulf Coast. Beach elder. And another beach at Sebastian Inlet State Park, another location that we visit in the subtropical class. Bay bean, beach sunflower, a nettle. I can show you some of the beach animals that are characteristic of this area, and these we do have on our Gulf Coast beaches, including the beaches at on the Alabama coast. Amphipods, which very small, people call them sand fleas. They are beach hoppers. Another thing that is actually also called a sand flea is the mole crab. It's a very specialized type of digging crab. These come in with the incoming waves and burrow down into the sand. You've probably seen ghost crabs, Ocypidi, that burrow in the sandy beaches. Some other some molluscan residents, the Donax species, the Florida coquina, which are a burrowing clam that will wash in with the waves and then burrow quickly. The lettered olive, which you will see just offshore as it burrows through the sand. And a living giant Atlantic cockle, Dinocardium, which you usually, of course, only see as broken pieces of shell. Some of the birds common along the beaches, the sanderlings, the little guys that run up and down in front of the incoming waves. Brown pelicans. Of course, there are many other birds, and I'll share some birds in another PowerPoint that we might see. Some of the common fish found along Gulf beaches, the Florida pompano, Atlantic bluefish, which move along the beach in schools. One of the more common residents, Arius felis, the sea catfish or the hardhead, and fish that locals call whiting. It's actually a cyanid. It's a relative of red drum and sea trout, but Menacerus littoralis is the Gulf kingfish. And there are the bad guys out there, the common beach resident among our shark species. Actually, there's 2 or 3 species that you'll find along the beach, but the big one that sometimes causes a little havoc along our beach is the bull shark. comes inshore quite commonly and actually can move up into fairly fresh water as well. There's a bull shark that's created quite a commotion off of a swimming beach. So that's my discussion of barrier islands and beaches, and I will end this, and then I'm going to come back and talk a little bit about salt marshes.